Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Awesome. So we're going to have some fun tonight, and I am going to shake things up, and we are not going to do your boring old stuck up the ass presentation. By the way, I swear, spoiler alert. Everybody ready to have some fun? Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a different way of doing things, success without burnout. How many of you are entrepreneurs? Nice. Anybody have a 9-to-5? Couple people? Okay. So the 9-to-5ers, this is going to be an interesting presentation for you, but it does apply. So take what works for you, leave what doesn't. And that applies to everybody. I'm going to say some things tonight that you might be like, what? And that's okay. I'm not here to please everybody. I'm here to share what I know works for me and has worked for hundreds of my clients. So, are we ready to play? Awesome. So, if I can hit the right button. There we go. You've been doing it all wrong. Let's start with that. So we've been raised in a society that has told us that we need to work hard to succeed. That we need to sit in front of our computers 15 hours a day, 10 hours a day, go, 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 hustle, hustle, grind, do the things. Corporations are able to put out as much content and as much things as they do because they have hundreds of staff. As most entrepreneurs, they're doing it all on their own. We are creating content, we're creating graphics, we're uploading blogs, we're doing all of the tech, plus managing our own energy, plus we have kids to pick up from school, and we've got families and all of the things, right? It's a lot. And so pretty soon you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. But society has trained us to believe that busy is a badge of honor. And it's bullshit. It has been scientifically proven that energy management is the fastest way to the most productivity. Taking a nap in the middle of the day is the fastest way to get shit done. It's not what we've been taught at all. Society has told us that we need to work the 9-to-5, and you need to sit in your office chair for those 8 hours, and you need to do the things. Anybody love doing that? No? Okay. You guys are quiet. Come on, let's get loud. That's better. All right. So the system is old, it's archaic, it no longer supports where we're going in society. Society is changing, the world is changing very quickly. Social media is stupid noisy. And if you can't keep up energetically, you can't keep up at all, and your business is going to fail. Period. Show me 100 entrepreneurs who are succeeding online by sitting in front of their computer 15 hours a day. I haven't met one, and I used to be one of them. So your ambition, excuse me, I'm gonna need a drink. Your ambition is not the problem here. Your drive is not the problem. That's a good thing, and I'm gonna show you how to use that ambition and that drive to get shit done without coming undone. Sound good? Woo! All right. So who the hell am I? My name is Cindy, and I have always done things different. My mom's in the audience, she'll tell you. I've always been the black sheep of the family. I have always looked at life through a different lens. I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I have struggled my entire life to figure out how to do it. I am an ex-cocaine addict. I have been in abusive relationships. I lost my father when I was 16 years old and made a series of really shitty decisions. And through all of that, the biggest thing I learned was to pull up my big girl panties and figure it out. And that in itself has been my entrepreneurial spirit. We're inventing words today. My entrepreneurial spirit that has allowed me to look at things differently. I know when I built my business 3 years ago that I had the ambition, I had the drive, I knew that I could get shit done. In fact, I named my business Get Shit Done. Everybody told me I was crazy and that I would never be able to market that. It's my tagline today, 3 years later. But in that Get Shit Done, what happened was I sat in front of my computer for hours every single day building other people's dreams. I had started my business as a virtual assistant, so I was building websites, doing the back-end sales funnels, all the things for online entrepreneurs. I thought I was changing the world because I was helping coaches, change makers, visionaries build their business, build their dream. But in that, I was not building my own dream. I was killing myself one day at a time. I was miserable. I was hiding the fact that every day after work, I would drink myself into oblivion. I was passing out drunk and not remembering what I did that night before because I was so fucking miserable. I hated my life. And then, I don't even know what happened, but one day I woke up and I said, that's enough. I'm not going to do this anymore. And I started looking for answers. I started looking for solutions to the problem. And I'm very scientific minded. I like the woo-woo stuff too. I like my essential oils and my crystals and all my tarot cards, but I want to know the science. Tell me why. So I started learning why. And we, as human beings, are energetic magnets. If we are not managing our magnet, then our energy flops and everything we do from there falls apart. All of our results mirror our energy. So it's all about energy management. Oh yes, and I've been there, done that, bought the postcard and the snow globe. All right, so why it doesn't work? Things have changed. We now live in an online business world where nobody can keep up. I can't even follow my own social media feed. It's so busy. I don't know what's going on from one day to the next, 1 hour to the next, 1 minute to the next, because it's so noisy. And we're trying to post 15 times a day and watch the algorithms and create content and create graphics and make sure that the sales page is working, and I've got to send that email out to my list, and I got to do this and I got to do that. Oh my God, are you overwhelmed yet? It's too much. And we as human beings are not designed to work that way. So it takes a lot to shift a paradigm. It takes a lot to change the way we work because we've been trained to hustle and grind. We've been trained to sit at our desk and do the things. We've been trained to use willpower over personal power. Anybody relate? Yeah. So people used to think the earth was flat. We changed that too, well, for the most part. There's still some people that believe that. But we are in a time where we are shifting the paradigm. We are changing what we believe because we're seeing new science come out that's teaching us things are different. What we understood about science 10 years ago is 100% different than what we understand about the science of our bodies today. Right, Kasha? You know. She's a kinesiologist. She knows the things. So solid science shows that energy management is the key. Does anybody here have energy management in place right now in their business? A little bit, okay? Everybody else is a solid no? So do you take regular breaks? Do you meditate? Do you drink lots of water? Do you go for walks? You got 3 out of 4, that's pretty good. Energy management's not hard, it's just that we have to commit to it, and I'm gonna show you how. Okay, any questions so far? How are we doing? Good, perfect, thank you. All right, so your ambition is not the problem. You're a high achiever, you're a go-getter. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to be, right? Nobody's an entrepreneur who's like, can somebody just pay me so I can watch Netflix, right? We are the go-getters. We have ambition, we have drive, we know that we want something, we have big visions, big goals. But the rest of it feels so overwhelming. You want to make $100,000 this year? How? When it's so noisy out there and you have to do so many things. And oh crap, now you're sick for 2 weeks. That's put you out. What do you do? So the first thing you have to be aware of is what you're committed to. Commitment is a word that gets tossed around a lot. Commitment is a word that we kind of go, yeah, I'm committed to that, but then we don't actually do it. Anybody set New Year's resolutions and then 2 weeks later go, right? If you're going to commit to making $100,000 a year or $1 million a year, you need to ask yourself what it's going to take to get there And are you willing to do that? It's like the person who wants to lose 50 pounds. Are you willing to get your ass out of bed every morning and go exercise? And are you willing to put the potato chips aside and eat something healthier? Or the person who wants a stronger relationship with their spouse. Are you willing to put the cell phone down and actually show up for your partner? It doesn't matter which area of your life you're trying to grow and expand, but you have to commit. And that commitment, you can't fuck around with. You have to take it seriously. So, it's time to take responsibility, and there's a lot of men in this crowd, but you guys can pull up your big girl panties too, right? All right, so it's not your job to know how you're going to get the thing that you want, whatever it might be. Let's open up a conversation here. Who has a big goal? Yes.
I want to start a knowledge broker business where I do online master classes.
Okay.
People get motivated and build good habits with their lives.
Nice. So what's your end goal with that?
To impact people's lives, start a good following, build a tribe of people, and to make upwards of $150,000 a year.
Okay. That's a good one. Do you know what it's going to take to get there?
A lot of hard work. I have to build a following. I have to start making videos. I have to make content. I have to come out to events like this. And I have hired a life coach and just continuously developing myself so that I can help others develop themselves.
Yes.
So it's going to just be a lot of basically just learning and just doing stuff that people tell me that I know is going to work.
Right. So what if you knew the 5 things to do instead of the 25?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
That's why you're here.
You think about it, there's so much stuff, and then the day goes by. And
But there's not so much stuff, and I'm going to show you that today. Okay? So your job to get to that big goal is not to know how. If you knew how to get there, you'd already have it. So knowing the how does nothing but screw you up. But human beings have a tendency to want to know how. It's kind of this catch-22 where we're like, but I need to know how, but I don't need to know how. What do I do? Your self-mastery and your awareness are the only 2 things that you need to pay attention to. If you don't like doing what somebody told you to do, you don't fucking do it. If you're scared to do it, and you're like, I know it's gonna work, but you're too scared to do it, that's different. But if you're like, I don't ever want to do a podcast in my life, why is that person succeeded doing a podcast, why can't I? Because you hate it so much that your energy is like, oh, no, and your audience can hear it, okay? So it's about knowing what's right for you. It's about knowing who you are deeply, not just, I'm a dad, I like to eat pizza, I don't like going for walks. I'm gonna pick on you, Heather. It's about knowing yourself on a very deep and personal level, knowing what you love, knowing what you hate, knowing all of the synchronicities, I shouldn't use big words, about yourself that you know you're gonna hate doing that podcast, so you're not even gonna look at doing it. I'm just using that as an example. I don't know if it's a podcast, but whatever it is, you need to know yourself, and then you need to master yourself. And by master yourself, I mean you committed to something, you fucking do it. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care if you don't feel like getting out of bed that day. I don't care if your kids are sick. You committed to doing it, you find a way to do it. You don't have to do it at 5 a.m. every day. Don't join the 5 a.m. club, please. Cash is laughing.
I've tried it.
I know. You need to, if you decide, say you decide that I'm gonna go for a walk every single day, because I know that when I move my body, my energy is maintained at a higher level and I get more shit done. I'm committed to going for a walk every day, and that walk is going to be 20 minutes. And you get up in the morning and it snowed a foot. Well, shit.
Boots on.
Or we live in the Okanagan, you wait an hour and it's all melted.
Yeah.
But you find a way to do it, or you go on a treadmill, or you do yoga instead, because you're still moving your body. But you find a way to keep the commitment, because that commitment that you made isn't to anybody else. That commitment that you made is to you. How do you feel about breaking promises to yourself? Kind of sucks.
It's easier to do than to break them for other people, though.
Right? Because we're all people pleasers. We all want to make everybody around us happy. But you know what that is? That's a lack of self-love. So when you notice yourself people pleasing, ask yourself, how can I love myself a little bit more in this moment? And it'll shift. Okay, I'm getting off topic now. So remember that commitment that you made and ask yourself, am I willing to do this today? Or am I willing to break a promise that I made to myself? That's the question you ask. And I guarantee you 90% of the time you're going to find a way to do it. Otherwise, you don't want it that bad. All right. So dare to be different. Excuse me, just for a moment. In a world full of negativity and chaos, in a world full of Trump, dare to be different. Dare to stand out, dare to be positive, dare to think differently, dare to see things in a way that nobody else sees. When you're pissed off at your spouse or your brother or your sister or your mother, I'm never pissed off at you. Ask yourself, what am I not seeing? Ask yourself, what else is possible in this moment? And you begin to train your brain to look at things from a different perspective at the drop of a hat. And so every time a problem comes up at work, you start looking at things differently, and you start seeing it from a different perspective, and you start problem solving. Because when you're in chaos and overwhelm and negativity, you're in what my mentor and I like to call T-Rex brain. Well, if you imagine a Tyrannosaurus Rex, they have tiny little brains and really small arms. And they really can't do much. But imagine a dolphin instead. A dolphin, their intuition is firing, they're creative, they're playful, they're hanging out with their friends, they're dancing in the ocean, they're having a great time. Be the dolphin, not the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Because when you try to solve problems from the energy that you created it in, you're only perpetuating the problem. You're not solving it. Your ego might think you came up with a solution because you'll send a nasty email and you'll be like, yeah, told that person. And then an email will come back, and then you got to send another one back. But instead, you could ask yourself, wait, hang on. What am I not seeing? I wonder what that other person is thinking on the other end. I wonder what's possible here. And you pause and you take a break and you go, oh. And then you send a nice little email back. Or maybe you do send that nasty email back. That's a possibility too. But even if you take the exact same action from the exact same action that you were going to take when you're in that T-Rex brain, if you take it in dolphin brain, you'll get a different result. Because your nervous system is either in fight, flight, T-Rex brain, or rest, repose, dolphin. When you're in fight, flight, the only two things you can do are fight or run. That's not problem solving. But if you're in rest, repose, your intuition is working. Your problem solving skills are working. And all of a sudden the solutions come to you. It feels like magic, but it's not. It's science. So, what if managing your energy was the #1 solution to getting all the shit done? What would be possible? You know. All right, so what do we do? This is all great, Cindy. Thanks for sharing this information with me. But what do I actually do? Well, you're going to do things differently. So you have a million things in your head. Does everybody have a piece of paper and a pen? You don't. Does anybody have a piece of paper and a pen that you could lend?
I have paper. Lots of paper. Wow, so resourceful.
Okay, so who here has a to-do list that's like 10,000 miles long? Only 4 of you? The rest of you can go. It's fine. All right, so what we're going to do, the first thing you need to understand is that as human beings, you're a human being, not a human doing. So when the mind and the ego gets wrapped up in all of the things that you have to do, my mother's an expert at this one. She's got a job and runs a nonprofit and she does all these things. So there's a lot of things going on in her mind all the time. So what do? The best thing you can do for that poor little brain of yours is write it all down. And I don't mean create another fucking to-do list, because that's the last thing you need. But what you need to do is clear space. The laws of the universal laws, physics, state that a vacuum needs to be created in order for something new to come in. So if you've got 10 million things in your head, you've got no space for a solution to come in. So we've got to empty the brain. So I call this process a brain dump. Now, I'm going to kind of walk through this a little bit quicker than I would normally suggest you do this, but this is something that you can do on a daily basis. I do this every night when I'm done work. And I get all the things that are going on in my head after a long day of work on a piece of paper. And what it does is it empties the space. So what you can do is go and spend time with your family and love them without being like, I gotta check that email and oh my God, I gotta do it. You can just be present with your family and not let your work leak into your family life and your personal life. Okay? So this process is called a brain dump. All you have to do is set a timer for about 20 minutes. We're gonna do like 5 today, but you just make yourself a nice cup of tea or a cup of coffee or pour yourself a glass of wine, that works too, and set a timer. Put on some nice music, get your essential oils out and your crystals, whatever it is that works for you, and you just start writing. All the things. So you guys want to play with me today? Yay! Before we get started, how many of you have meditated before? Nice. All right. We're going to meditate today. So you can all walk away going, I meditated. Okay. So just take a moment, take a deep breath. Go ahead and grab that pen and that piece of paper and just start writing. It doesn't matter what you write. If you can't think of anything that you have to do, that's okay. Write down, I don't know what to do. Just write something down on the paper. And your job here is to create space, not to create a to-do list. So if you're thinking about your brother's, sister's, mother-in-law's kid, write it down. If you're thinking about the email list that you want to create, write it down. If you're thinking about the meaning of the universe, write it down. Whatever it is, it's about making space. I'll just give you guys a couple of minutes. You've done this before, so you know. All right, so for the purpose of keeping everybody on time today, because I could be here all day, we're gonna move on, but this would be a 20-minute exercise, maybe even an hour if you've got a lot of overwhelm. The more overwhelmed you are, the more you need to write things down. But let's talk about meditation for a minute. I remember the day that my mentor told me that if you were just to meditate, you'd get more done. I went, what? That makes no sense whatsoever. I don't have an extra 20 minutes in my day to meditate. What are you talking about? But what happens when you meditate is it slows your nervous system down, and it puts you into that rest repose state where all of a sudden your brain is making better decisions. And when you make better decisions, you get more done, and you're more productive, you have more energy, all of these things. So it's about maintaining that level of energy. Now, a lot of people think that you have to sit cross-legged with your palms up and go zen and turn your brain off. That is one way of meditating, not my way. There is thousands of different ways to meditate. Some people like to do walking meditations. There you go, Heather, you could do that one. So if you decide that you cannot sit still for 20 minutes and that's just impossible, remember, you know who you are and you know you best. So you need to choose what works for you. So I've played with a lot of different forms of meditation. Walking meditation is one of my favorite. I throw in my headphones, I set an intention. I'm going to think about this for my entire walk, and I'm going to walk for 30 minutes, and as I'm walking, I'm dreaming, I'm visualizing, I'm imagining the possibility instead of going, oh my God, I hate walking. I just want this to be over. Is it 30 minutes yet? I see the difference. So if you're focusing your intention, that's what meditation is. It's slowing down the nervous system, breathing, and allowing your brain to be put aside for a moment. It is solid science that our heart makes decisions before the brain. But all of us have been told to shut the damn heart off because it hurts when we get hurt, so we don't listen. Our heart receives information from our external environment, and from there, it sends that information to the brain for the brain to decide what to do with it. If the brain is overwhelmed, the brain's gonna go, fuck no, I'm out. I don't wanna play today. But if the brain is calm, because you're in rest repose and you've got your nervous system under control, the brain is gonna come along and play and get creative and find ways to make it happen. Have you ever had this moment where you were like, oh my God, that would be so amazing to do, and then you're like, think of all the ways you can't do it, right? That's your brain going, hell no, I don't want to play. I'm overwhelmed, I'm scared, I don't know what to do, I want to understand how. When you meditate, you tell the brain that it's safe and it's okay. I've got you. I'm going to hold your hand along the way. And the brain goes, okay, I'll come along. And pretty soon, after a little while, the brain's like, yeah, let's do this, okay. And you're rocking and rolling, okay? So the purpose of meditation is to give yourself space. That is it. You give yourself the space to land into rest repose so that you can make good decisions, therefore being more productive. Does that make sense? Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear. All right, so who thinks that they're on a deadline and they're in a hurry? Yep, been there, done that. I remember working with clients who were like, I need my website launched yesterday. And I'm like, okay. And I worked with the flu at the toilet with my laptop. I was that much of a people pleaser. Because I was so hell-bent on helping them and rescuing them that I did not care about my own well-being until I learned this. And now the website's done yesterday, and they don't even know what happened. So, everybody game to play? Let's meditate. I'm getting a little bit of like, okay, I don't really know what kind of ride you're taking me on. That's okay. Your brain's like, I don't know what's happening. It's fine. So this is not complicated. This does not have to be some Buddha Zen thing. We're not going to be oming or anything like that. You can, if you want. There's lots of different ways to meditate. I've done it, it works, it's great, but we're just gonna do a simple meditation. So if you wouldn't mind, just close your eyes, pen down, paper down, and just take a few deep breaths. And you want to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just allow that nervous system to slow down as you focus your attention on the breath. And on your next inhale, whenever it feels comfortable for you, as you inhale, bring your attention down to the base of your spine, your sits bones. And just inhale that breath down into that space. And allow yourself to feel safe and protected and secure. Just continue breathing. And on your next inhale breath, as you bring that breath in, bring it down to the space just below the belly button. And as you focus your awareness on this space, notice a sense of creativity and play. Notice a sense of pleasure. And continue breathing. And on your next inhale, bring that breath to the space in your stomach, just below the rib cage. You can even move your hand to that space if it feels comfortable. And focus your breath there as you notice a sense of personal power. A sense of desire for a better world. And continue breathing, focusing your awareness on that breath. And on your next inhale, bring your awareness to the space at the heart. And allow yourself to feel a sense of deep love and compassion for yourself, for your loved ones, for your community. And continue to focus that awareness on your breath. And on your next inhale, bring your awareness to the space in the throat. Noticing a desire to speak your truth, to say the things that haven't been said. And continue focusing on your breath. And on your next inhale, bring your awareness to the space just behind the eyes. And as you breathe into this space, notice a deep sense of trust in your decisions. Knowing that if you can slow down for a few minutes, that your brain can get on board with your heart and lead you towards your intention and your desire. And continue focusing on your breath. And on your next inhale, bring your awareness to the space above your head. Notice a sense of connection. And feel as that space and that breath goes all the way from the top of your head down behind the eyes, down behind the throat, down into the heart, into the stomach, into the space below the belly button. And down into the base of the spine. And as you sit here focusing on that breath, allow yourself to bring your biggest goal to mind. Focus on what you'd like to achieve, on what problem you're currently trying to solve. And continue breathing. And ask yourself, what do I do next? And when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes and write down anything that may have come up. Even if it doesn't make sense, go ahead and write it down. All right. Anybody have anything profound come up? Yeah. That's overwhelm. Yeah. Did anybody have a actual, I need to go build a website come out? Yeah? Good. All right. So see, sometimes it happens. So I did this exercise at an event back in October, and every single person I asked was like, I need to play more. I need to take more breaks. I need to take more time off, which is great. But sometimes you actually have shit to do. And so that will come out in meditation too, where you're like, okay, that's the next step. And that gives you permission to put all the other things away. Put them on the side burner and go build that website. Because that's not your T-Rex brain saying, I need to build a website. That's your dolphin brain going, I need to build a website, right? So now you know, and you have confidence. I can see it in your face. You're like, yeah, I know, right? Did anybody else have anything that they might want to share? Something funky or weird? Or how about you, Mom? What came up? More time for you. That's a people-pleasing thing. We're all famous for that. Yeah?
I find being in a creative industry, we're often required to be creative. We're required to, on a deadline, you let's all brainstorm and come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And you can't force ideas.
Yeah.
That the best comes when you relax the brain.
Yeah.
In the shower, or just as you get up in the morning, or just before you go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Put that question in a relaxed brain.
Yeah.
You can be more creative.
Exactly. So if you notice that it happens in the shower, there's a reason that it happens in the shower. Uh-oh. Mateo! If you notice that it happens in the shower, it's because you're actually clearing energy with the water. And so it's actually clearing your energy out. It's okay. I can roll without my slides, but for some reason I have no slides. So, is that what happened? It shouldn't have, it's plugged in. How is that low battery? Am I unplugged or something? Yeah, well, whatever. We don't need the slides, do we? All right, so in the shower or just before you go to bed, those things are pretty common. So what if you were to use that to your advantage and use it intentionally? And you know that you've got a board meeting coming up and you're going to be asked to be creative on the spot, and you're going to be asked to use your willpower instead of that personal power. Meditate before you go to the meeting. And you'll be in rest repose, and everybody is going to be like, what happened to you? Because you'll be so full of creative ideas, it's going to blow everybody's mind, right? So your responsibility is to put yourself in rest repose as much as you possibly can. Because you're not doing anybody, including the people you're trying to please, any good if you're a shit show. It's not going to do anybody any good. So, managing the energy. Now, this is all well and good. We just meditated. Everybody's feeling great. Cool. And you're going to go home tomorrow, and you're going to get wrapped up in chaos, and you're going to completely forget everything I just told you. And you're going to continue to go into T-Rex brain, because we as human beings are creatures of habit. So we need to create a new habit. And how do you do that? You do it over and over and over again. And if you're willing, you commit to it. Remember that commitment word? Are you willing to commit to managing your own energy? Or are you willing to commit to people pleasing and feeling like crap at the end of the day and drinking yourself into oblivion? Because that's what I did. Or are you willing to commit to managing your energy and showing up as your best self every single day? The number 64 is viability. When a human cell reaches 64, a baby is created. So I recommend that you practice this every day or every work day for 64 days. At the end of 64 days, I want you to email me and tell me what your results are. Because I guarantee you, it's going to look a lot different than it does today. So, I've got a little gift for everybody, whoever would like it, because my slides don't work. I had my website up there, but I've got cards, and I've got the meditation that I just did, or a variation of it, as well as a tracker, so you can give yourself a little gold star every time you meditate. I like to get those check marks in school. It was really fun. So you can grab that from my website. It's absolutely free, and you can enjoy it. And I would encourage you, please, if you decide to commit to this, if you could decide to give it a try, and even if you get to like day 20 and you're like, I see no results, reach out to me, and I'll help you walk through it. Because this practice right here changed my life. It didn't just change my life, it saved my life. I was on a path of self-destruction where I was going to die. I was drinking so much, I don't even know what I was doing to my poor liver. Ask my mother. And today, I run an extremely successful business. I work maybe 30 hours a week, and I love every day that I wake up because I'm in dolphin brain all the time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for yourselves, and go try something different today and tomorrow and the next day. Thank you.